So I printed out the official proposed bill to abolish the Department of Education because I've been seeing so many videos fear-mongering, and it is not okay. Half of you guys don't know what you're talking about. This is not to sway you to agree with it or not agree with it. This is simply to explain what it is so that when you're talking about it, you are not spreading fear to people or basing your opinion on what it actually is and not what you heard or wanted to make up that it was. Number one, something that I'm seeing a lot, child nutrition programs. They are not going anywhere. That is not even funded right now by the Department of Education. That is funded by the Department of Agriculture, so that is just staying as is. So stop telling people that their children are going to lose their free lunches because they're not. Effective on the date that is 180 days after the date of enactment of this act, the Department of Education is abolished, and with the exception of programs transferred under Section 3, any program, blah, blah, blah. So now we're going to go to Section 3 and see what programs are not included because they will be transferred. Number one, all functions, programs, and authorities of the Secretary of Education under the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act shall be transferred to the Department of Health and Human Services. This includes IEPs, early interventions, special ed grants, free special education services. I've been seeing a lot of videos fear-mongering saying that your child's IEP is going to be gone. No, it's not. It's simply going to be transferred to the Department of Health and Human Services. Okay, so stop spreading that lie. Number two, each authority and program of Office of Indian Education of the Department of Education shall be transferred to the Department of Interior. These are programs to improve education for Native Americans. There are multiple programs. You can go and look them up if you'd like. Next, moving on. Each Impact Aid program under the Title VIII of Elementary and Secondary Education Act of 1965 shall be transferred to the Department of Health and Human Services. This is another one that I keep saying, you're going to lose your grants. No, you are not. They simply will be transferred to the Department of Treasury. The Federal Pell Grant Program is not going anywhere. Federal Family Education Loan Program is not going anywhere. Moving on. Other loans not going anywhere. Activities described in Part F, G, or H of Title IV that are carried out by the Department of Education shall be transferred and carried out by the Department of Treasury. The Health Education Assistance Loan Program. I've seen this a lot. People saying that they're not going to get funding anymore. Yes, you are. These are healthcare field loans for people going into medicine, dentistry, veterinarian school. Now, those are the programs that are going to be transferred. So if you saw anything there that you were scared about, just know that it is not going anywhere. It's just going to be another department. You wouldn't have known which department it was coming from anyway, so it doesn't matter. This is basically just an explanation of what's going to be happening. So we'll just read a little bit. Secretary of Treasury shall carry out a program in which the Secretary makes allocations to states to support elementary and secondary education, including career and technical education. Okay? You can pause to read. I'm not going to read all of these paragraphs. That's just basically saying what is going to happen. And then again, here, I'm not going to read this because what I just showed you was early education, and now this is the same thing. It's just post-secondary education. So same gist. Another one of the fearmongers' famous points that I keep on seeing is the Office of Civil Rights being dismantled on individuals not being protected against discrimination. So I'm going to read this. Civil Rights Division of Department of Justice shall be responsible for receiving complaints and otherwise enforcing and carrying out the federal civil rights laws that are applicable to the grant programs under Section 4 and the programs